Hi everyone, welcome back to a new post today, and let's look into the day 15 of your preliminary important points for UPSC examination of 2025. And the very first one is about the national litigation policy. Now recently the new minister who was decided for the law ministry, Ram Arjun Meghwal, he decided to implement the national litigation policy. Now this policy was adopted in 2010 by the then law minister of the UPA, and numerous state litigation policies have existed since 2010, like Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, West Bengal and Maharashtra are among the states that have carved out their own litigation policies. They focus on difficulties in litigation involving the state governments and try to improve the legal infrastructure. Now the national litigation policy was conceived in 2009 with the objective to bring down the litigation from the government agencies, but it has remained only in the draft stage until now. The next most important is with regard to DRDO working with the underwater UAV. So DRDO has taken significant steps towards enhancing India's underwater military prowess by partnering with Sagar Defence Engineering Private Limited, a Pune-based defence startup, to develop innovative underwater launch unmanned aerial vehicles. Now the underwater launch unmanned aerial vehicles will have the capability to be deployed quickly, safely and autonomously from a moving submarine. It will have high endurance and long range, giving it a huge surprise element advantage. It will enable discreet surveillance missions, allowing submarines to monitor potential threats without revealing their presence. And India has a lone submarine rescue vessel, which is called as the Deep Submergence Rescue Vessel. It is equipped with a drone, which is used for underwater searches and also for recording ambient noises in the ocean beds. The next most important is with regard to UCC, though this has been in discussion all along. It has been implemented in Uttarakhand now, and many BJP states are touting to implement the UCC. Even the union government is saying that it's going to implement the UCC once it forms the government. Now UCC, or Uniform Civil Code, is mentioned as a part of the directive principles of state policy under Article 44, which says that the state shall endeavour to secure to all the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Civil laws are those laws which govern relations between individual in the form of marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance and other personal laws as well, and other property rights, etc., and other issues as well. So there is no draft or model document of UCC yet. However, the framers of the Indian Constitution envision that it would be a uniform set of laws to replace a distinct personal laws for each religion with regard to marriage, divorce, adoption and inheritance. And the clause of the UCC generated substantial debate in the Constituent Assembly about whether it should be included as a fundamental right or a directive principles of state policy. The matter was settled by a vote with a majority of 5:4, wherein the subcommittee of fundamental rights headed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel decided that securing UCC was not within the scope of the fundamental rights, and members of the assembly took starkly contrasting views about the UCC. Some felt that India was too diverse a country for the UCC. Presently, apart from Uttarakhand, we have Goa having its own civil code, which was given by the Portuguese in the year 1867. The next most important is about One Nation, One Election. Now, a committee has been formed by President Ramnath Kovind, who submitted his remote on to the government regarding One Nation, One Election, which proposes simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and the Assembly. Now, the panel was set up in September and has studied the best practices from all across the countries, consulted 39 political parties, economists, and also the Election Commission of India. Simply, it means that the Indians will have to vote in the Lok Sabha and the Assembly elections at one time to pick up the central and the state representatives in the same year, if not at the same time. At present, there are only very few that vote for a state government at the same time when the country goes for the general elections to the Lok Sabha. Some of them are Andhra Pradesh, Sikkim and Odisha. And in this elections, we had even Arunachal Pradesh going to elections as well. So these are scheduled to vote at the same time in April and May when the Lok Sabha elections occur. Now, Maharashtra and Haryana will vote later this year, along with Jharkhand, while the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will hold its first assembly elections in 6 years before September 30th, in line with the recent Supreme Court order for restoration of statehood. And the next one is about June 5th being celebrated as World Environment Day. Now, Prime Minister Modi launched a program called as Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam on this occasion, and it is led by the United Nations Environment Program, held annually on 5th June on 5th June every year. It has been celebrated since 1973, and the World Environment Day is the largest global platform for environment public outreach and is celebrated by millions of people across the world. The event is hosted by United Nations Environment Program since its inception in 1973. In 2024, World Environment Day is being hosted by Saudi Arabia, and with a focus on land restoration, desertification and drought resilience. In 2023, World Environment Day showcased the solutions to plastic pollution, underscoring the need for a comprehensive whole of the society approach to combat the issue of plastic pollution crisis, which also contributes to global warming as well. Now, following this, a unanimous decision was taken to establish an intergovernmental negotiation committee to develop a legally binding global instrument to end plastic pollution. This World Environment Day serves as a reminder for all of us about this. And the next one is about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. It is Prime Minister's Farmers Tribute Fund, and an initiative by the Government of India that was launched in 2019 to provide minimum income support to the farmers at rupees 6,000 per annum in 3 installments. And the next is about NTA, or the National Testing Agency. That was in news because of the leak of the NEET paper. So the National Testing Agency is an autonomous body under the Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. And it has been approved by the Union Council of Ministers to establish the National Testing Agency in 2017 to conduct entrance examination, admissions and recruitment. Now, the National Testing Agency is responsible for conducting numerous national level examinations for admission and also fellowship in the higher education institutions related to engineering, medicine, management and pharmacy. In 2018, it was decided the examinations that will be conducted by the National Testing Agency are the Joint Entrance Examination JEE Main, the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test Undergraduate, that is NEET, twice a year, and also the National Eligibility Test NET, or the Common Management Admission Test, or the CMAT, and the Graduate Pharmacy Aptitude Test, or the GPAT. And the next most important is about United Nations declaring 2025 as the year of quantum science. Now, the next year will be a century of Werner Heisenberg publishing a paper which laid the foundation of modern quantum mechanics. So this coincides with this, and the theory, this quantum mechanics describes the behavior of matter and energy at atomic and subatomic scales, and has made possible many of the world's most important technological developments and changes. And over the past century, quantum theory has become the foundation for physics. And the last one for the day is about Plastics Treaty. Countries from all over the world gathered, about 175 countries gathered in April 2024 at Ottawa in Canada to begin talks for a first global treaty to curb plastic pollution. Now, this ran up to a week, up to April 29th, and this was the fourth round of negotiations since 2022, when the United Nations Environmental Assembly agreed to develop a legally binding plastic treaty, a treaty on plastic pollution by the end of 2024. Now, the final round is going to take place in November this year, 2024, in South Korea. And there is a coalition of 65 nations. It is called as High Ambition Coalition, which seeks to tackle plastic production. Now, the coalition, which includes the African nations and most of the European Union, also wants to end plastic pollution by 2040, phase out problematic single-use plastics, and ban certain chemical additives that could carry health risks. So these are some of the points that I wanted to share with you all with regard to day 15 for June 5th, and I hope these points were really helpful to you all. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. And I shall see you tomorrow in another new post with another new list of your important points for the preliminary examination UPSC 2025. And until then, it's very happy learning.